Thank you to Maja Hall for your support on Patreon.
Well, hi there. It's been a bit, isn't it? Oh, man. Hello, everyone. My name is Vivian, and welcome back to Tennis Ace. Good lord, has it been a bit. Let's just not focus on it and just continue, eh? October. June 25. Sunday. Oh my god, with the frying sound effects. Once morning finally arrived, I yawned, heading downstairs to the kitchen where I thought I'd be getting started on preparing breakfast for all of us today. Instead, I was welcomed by the sound of active sizzling, as well as the smell of fish and soy sauce wafting invitingly through the air. Morning. I'm surprised to see you home on a Sunday morning. Well, that's a fuck you for breakfast, apparently.
Oh, good morning, sweetie. I found myself with a little bit of free time and decided to stay home this morning.
Now that's rare. Like Christmas in July, or someone admitting that they're wrong on the internet. Okay. Getting a little smart with me. You'd think that seeing one's parent at home during a weekend would be a given, but even I myself am often surprised by just how rare it is. Either way, it's not like it's an unwelcome surprise. It's kind of nice not having to cook breakfast every morning. Oh, and seeing Mom is cool too. Jesus Christ. You are just... I am... How many minutes? I've been recording for 3 minutes, and I am just struck by how unlikable the main character has been already. Sorry, if I knew someone else would be in the kitchen, I'd have gotten dressed before coming downstairs. I was going to get started on breakfast first before I put my uniform on.
Have you already bathed, at least? It'll only be a few more minutes before I'm done cooking. It'd be a shame if you couldn't have your food while it's hot.
That's alright. I finished my bath a good half an hour ago. I think Aki's the one in there right now.
And your friend?
Oh, right. She doesn't know that Keisuke barely sleeps. He wakes up really early every morning. He's just sitting around in my room writing some stuff in his notebook.
I'm glad your friends take their studies seriously as well. It's a good example for both you and your brother.
Okay, first of all, I'm the senior here, so if anybody's supposed to be setting an example, it's me, not Keisuke. Second of all, he's not even studying. He's humming to himself and writing down music whatevers. Well, as much as I want to be petty and correct her on her wrong assumption, I suppose there's no harm in letting her believe that. At the end of the day, Keisuke is a studious guy, after all. Yeah, for sure.
Is everything okay with him? Is he doing well?
Keisuke? Yeah, he's fine. Why do you ask?
I'm a little worried, that's all. Your friend has been away from his family for a little while. Won't they worry?
That's... If you'd asked me that a few weeks ago, I'd have agreed with you. As things stand right now, I know better. His family knows he's here. It's not a problem.
I'm aware that they know. I'm just worried that the more time passes, the harder it gets for them to make up. After all, he's here because they had a fight, right?
Something like that. I'm not sure the word fight is a good enough description in this situation. His family are a bunch of monsters through and through. I don't care who they are. Nothing gives them the right to treat someone like that. From the very beginning, I didn't even think twice about it. When I heard of the situation, my first thought was to bring Keisuke to my place so I could make sure he's safe and taken care of. Makeup. I seriously doubt something like that would even be possible. Just keep in mind, too much kindness can be cruel sometimes. Is this your way of saying you want him to leave? What? No, of course not. I'm barely home in the first place, so I can barely even notice his presence. In fact, I think I've only seen Keisuke-kun once since he's started staying over. It's more that... I think the easiest way to say it would be that I'm concerned him staying here might make things too difficult in the long term. I don't know that there's even a long term to think about here. I mean, I get it. Keisuke can't stay here forever. It wouldn't be reasonable for me to ask Mom and Aki to put up with that. I know they're really kind and that they want to help out, but that would be taking advantage of their kindness. But still, I hate the idea of not being able to do something about it. And I hate the idea of Keisuke going back to his place even more than that. If I could, I'd make sure he would never have to go back to his house. But I can't. I don't have a place of my own or the money to do so. I hate feeling powerless like this. I spent the last few days trying to not think about it, but it's hard to do so when I'm asked directly. Sheesh. Could these two be more similar? Both Mom and Aki asking me about Keisuke's situation just a few days apart from each other? I guess they're both thinking the same thing. Am I the only one that doesn't see it? It's too early in the morning for you to be spacing out, sweetie. You have that same look on your face you usually do when you're lost in thought. You're standing in the middle of the kitchen without saying anything. Okay. See, the problem here is that there have been a lot of times in this and in many visual novels where there have been legitimate just asides out of nowhere about nothing that have been detractions from the plot and whatever, and that would be legitimately spacing out. This was not spacing out, but I guarantee, it just lumping actually mulling over legitimate problems should not be demonized. You gotta actually consider what's going on. Shouldn't be getting shit on for this. See, this is the problem, is that the main character has a lot of dislikable problems, but he also gets unduly shit on for a lot of shit that he shouldn't get shit on. That I don't know. It's a weird mix. Oh, I forgot about the sound effects when I go over buttons. It's nice. Right. Sorry, I was thinking over what you said. I didn't say it to make you freak out about it. He wasn't freaking out about it. No, what the fuck? Why would you say that? Nice motherly tone there. I know that. What did you mean by that exactly? By what? That too much kindness can be cruel. Are you saying I shouldn't be helping him out? Not exactly. It's wonderful that you want to help your friend out. If anything, it makes me happy as a mother to see you've matured into such a kind, considerate young man. But if all you do is shelter him from his problems, it'll get harder and harder for him to see them through on his own. The longer you spend looking away from a hard situation, the harder it gets to face it in the future. After all, no one likes discomfort. It's only natural for someone to choose to avoid it. she doesn't, I mean, she's not wrong, but at the same time, she doesn't really know the situation at hand. And Keisuke's been living this life unavoidably. This has been his first respite in his like entire life ever, from the sounds of it. So like this whole speech about you can't take him away from his problems or else it'll be harder for him to come back from it. Like, this is the first time he's had even like any time away from it. But he also has a long history of like trying to get away from Alex, but like that's hardly comparable. This has been his first time just being away. I don't know. This is I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling this.
What you need to worry about is, are you making it too difficult for him to solve his problems in the future? Does he have any incentive to do so as is? That makes sense, I guess. I see what she's trying to say, but I can't bring myself to agree with it. How is it cruel to want to keep someone away from a bad situation? I don't get it. To begin with, Keisuke isn't that one that's in the wrong. Isn't the one, I would say. Isn't the one that's in the wrong. So why does he have to be the one subjecting himself to that nest of vipers? Isn't making him go back the one thing that would be cruel? I'll think it over properly when I'm more awake. Of course. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you, sweetie. This is a weird way to talk to your... You're treating him like he's acting irrationally. He's not acting irrationally. It's a normal conversation. He just took a moment to think about it. You're treating him like, you don't have to freak out. I'm sorry I upset you. Like, he's not acting up. He's not speaking loudly. He's not yelling. He's not even talking irrationally. Like, why are you handling him with kid gloves? Like, seriously. People talk to him like he's freaking out all the time when he's acting normal, and then when he does act badly, sometimes it's weird. I don't know. I only wanted to make sure everything was okay. I thought you and Keisuke-kun would have talked about it by now.
If you're not around enough, and I get it that she can't be, but if you're not around enough to actually know what's going on in your child's life, you can't just show up and presume to be involved enough to like, what the fuck?
But why would I ever do that? I want to keep him away from his problems. What would be the point in making him talk about going back? If anything, wouldn't mentioning it be an indirect way of saying I want him gone? That's just cruel. Since I don't have to cook, I'm just going to go back to my room and get dressed. I'll let Keisuke know breakfast is almost ready. Of course.
There he is. I quickly walked back to my room, rubbing the spot between my eyebrows as I noticed the early signs of a headache beginning to show themselves. Why do people have to ambush me with stuff like this first thing in the morning? What am I even supposed to do now? That's a valid point. I genuinely agree with that. That was rude. That was a genuinely rude thing. You're back real quick. As soon as I walk in, I'm greeted with the sight of a white hair checking himself out in the mirror while fixing the collar of his jacket. You're fixing the collar of your pajama jacket? Why do you care if your pajama jacket looks good? Oh, hey, you're dressing already. Unless this isn't a pajama jacket. Looks like a pajama jacket, but alright. Oh, hey, you're dressed already. Yes, I was planning on heading downstairs and keeping you company while you made breakfast. Though it looks like I took too long. What? Of course not. Mom was already cooking breakfast when I got downstairs. So I came up here to get dressed, and by the looks of the corner sprite, it already happened. I know you don't know much about cooking, but you seriously think I'd have managed to whip up breakfast for 3 people in under 5 minutes? You could. Eggs. I could do that. She is. Oh dear. What? Is there a problem? Maybe. I've been here for quite a few days already, but I've barely said 2 words to your mother this entire time. I can't help but feel awkward thinking of having her cook me breakfast all of a sudden. Oh, yeah, Mom mentioned something like that too. I didn't get the feeling that she minded, though. You didn't talk to her because she wasn't home. It's not like you were ignoring her in her own house. I know, but even so, what kind of guest stays at someone's home for a week without even talking to their host? I'm your host. With all due respect, Benjamin, no. How so? You might live here too, and be allowed to have guests over, but it's not like you own the house. It's her house. Technically, yes, you'd be right about that, but my family doesn't operate with this kind of yours and mine mentality. Regardless, at the end of the day, it's still true that she's the owner of the house I've been staying at, and I've failed to even properly greet her in my time here, or to introduce myself before staying over for so long. I thought of doing it a few times before, but the only times I knew she was home were when it was already too late at night or way too early in the morning. I suppose I could have knocked on her door regardless, but that would have likely been even more obnoxious. I suppose I could have gone downstairs and waited by the door to greet her before she left. The thought only really crossed my mind yesterday, but there was also the risk of coming across a little creepy if— oh god, there he goes mumbling to himself. Not only does he seem to have completely forgotten about me standing right here, but he's even reverted to that kind of overly formal language he uses sometimes. I could probably stop him, but my mind is too full for that at the moment. I end up deciding to let Keisuke mumble all he wants while getting myself dressed instead. Besides, it's not that difficult to tune someone out when they're speaking quietly. If anything, it makes for some good background noise to keep me from getting too absorbed in my own thoughts. I guess we both have this kind of tendency to overthink things, though I'm nowhere near as loud a thinker. Just one of the habits I've begun to notice a little more of as we've cohabitated these past few days. I've certainly seen a few sides of Keisuke that I didn't even know existed until now. By the time I finished getting dressed, I turn around to see the hair clutching his head, mumbling even faster than before. Pretty obvious that he's talked himself into a corner. I never thought I'd see someone lose an argument to themselves, yet here we are. This sure has been a weird week. Not to ruin your fun, but I'm gonna head downstairs to have breakfast. You're welcome to join if you're done arguing with yourself. Yeah, of course. Food would be good. So in the end, he ran himself in circles so hard that he completely forgot the thing he was worrying about in the first place. Man, the way his brain works astounds me sometimes. There they are. The two of us quickly head downstairs, with Keisuke continuing to mumble to himself every now and then along the way. though at least he's quieted down a fair bit. He fixates on the smallest things sometimes. I'm back.
Welcome back, sweetie. Breakfast is almost ready. And hello there, Keisuke-kun. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Is something the matter? Your face is very tense.
It's nothing. I'm just... I'm sorry I haven't been a better guest.
What? Benjamin-kun, what did you say to him?
I didn't say anything. He got this idea in his head all on his own.
Seriously, who starts a conversation like that?
Of course he's not gonna know what you're talking about, you idiot.
Keisuke-kun, what's this about? You've been nothing but a good guest.
Told you. I barely interacted with you while staying here, even though this is your house.
Is that what this is about? Don't be silly. That's no big deal.
But told you. You don't have to repeat yourself.
I'm barely ever home in the first place. Of course we wouldn't have many chances to interact. If anything, I should be the one apologizing for not checking up on you since you're our guest.
What? There's no need for you to do that, ma'am.
I do need to say, you're so polite. That's very rare, especially for a boy your age. I'm happy to see my son has been keeping such good company.
I'm not. I gently place a hand on his lower back, patting him softly. I suppose it's to be expected that Keisuke wouldn't be used to interacting with other people's families like this. He's never had many friends, and even with the ones he does have, he doesn't go to their houses a whole lot. I guess he's mentioned visiting Saya a few times before, but I sincerely doubt either of her parents would have been home at the time either. As nice as they are, they also have their hands full with their work.
Come on, have a seat. I'll start setting the table. I've made grilled mackerel, rice, and a few egg salad sandwiches. I hope there isn't something you don't eat mixed in.
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Is that so? I'm glad. It didn't even occur to me until I was almost done that I added some cream to the sandwiches. I really hope you don't have a problem with lactose. I know Saya-chan does.
No, ma'am. No such problems for me.
I'm glad. Sit. Aki should be coming downstairs any moment, too.
Oh, yeah. He's been taking a little longer in the bath lately. I think it might be about time to go for a trim. He must be having a hard time dealing with his fur getting all tangled. Oh, Jesus. When her eyes got all big.
Yes. I guess it's been a while since the last time, huh?
Is that a big problem for you guys? Well, yeah. Our fur can grow pretty long and thick after all. Huh. I never thought about that. Hares tend to shed their seasonal coats pretty often, so it's never become so big as to be a problem. Oh, I didn't know that. The more you know.
People tend not to think too much about how others' circumstances might differ from their own. It's normal to assume that because something is normal for you, it'll be normal for others as well.
That's a great point. I hadn't thought of it like that. Really? The guy with the most abnormal life I've ever met has never thought that what's normal to him might not be normal to others. In fact, I'm pretty sure we've talked about that exact topic at least a few times.
Keisuke, are you just agreeing with whatever Mom says without thinking about it? Do you boys have any plans for the day?
As she's setting the table, Mom continues to make conversation as if it was all a given. I know that setting a table isn't exactly rocket science, but shouldn't you at least be careful and look what you're doing when you're handling things that could burn you? Not really. Well, I was actually wondering if we could go out today. You were? Well, that's the first I hear of it. Well, did something happen? No, it's not a big deal or anything. I guess I've been feeling restless. That's about it. Restless? How come? Isn't it obvious? The regional tournament is next week. I feel restless and like I need to train more. I think that'd be a given. Oh yeah. I guess it really is next week, huh? Whew. Time sure flies. How can you be so nonchalant about it? It's not like it's some huge deal or anything. It's just regionals. That's... Let me see. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Benjamin, please remember that things that come easy to you might not to others.
Huh? Seriously. It's easy for you to say that stuff like that since you always place high and qualify for the next stage as if it weren't a big deal. I barely managed to scrape through last year. Oh. Yikes. I completely forgot about that. That's true. Keisuke only barely got a spot on the All Japan Junior Tournament last year. And even then, he got eliminated really early in that competition. Sorry, I wasn't thinking about it. I noticed. Sorry. I swear that wasn't on purpose.
You'll be fine, though. With all the progress you've made recently, there's no way you'd place badly.
Do you really think that, or are you just saying it to appease me?
I do really think that. I mean, come on, you've been putting up way more of a fight recently. Actually, I have to work to win against you nowadays. Wow. You would just, build up, and right at the end there. Wow, you're doing so good lately. You've made so much progress. I almost have to sweat a little bit to notice you on the courts. Jesus, you fucking patronizing son of a bitch. There you go. There, even mom is like, God damn it. As soon as the words escape my lips, I hear a mutual sigh from the two of them, catching me by surprise. What's the matter? Seriously, do you even know how you come off sometimes? See, this is a moment where they are right to give him shit. He is being an ass right now. Other times, like the earlier conversation with his mom, he was getting shit on for no good reason. And there have been plenty of other times where it's just no good reason that he's getting shit on. And there have been times where he's been an ass and he wasn't getting shit on. It's inconsistent. And that's a problem.
How I sound? What do you mean? I'm good enough to force you to work to win, huh? Gee, thank you so much for telling me I'm finally worth you putting in the effort.
Hold on a second, that's not how I meant it.
The worst part is that I know that. You really have goblins running around inside your brain, don't you? Honestly, sometimes even I think so. Sorry. Whatever. I knew what I signed up for when I chose you to... Trailing off before reaching the end of his sentence. Keisuke's eyes briefly go wide, flickering towards Mom for only a fraction of a second before he finally straightened himself out on his chair. It would have been even closer of a call if instead of chose you, it would have been even closer of a call if it would have been asked you, and then see, because that's exactly what I thought he was gonna do. Chose you to be my practice partner. That's because no one says chose you to be my boyfriend. That is, no one says it like that. But asked you to be my practice partner, that's fine. But asked you out, people say asked you out all the time. But no one says chose you to be my boyfriend. No one says that shit. Nobody says that. I have never heard that in my fucking life. I realize said that sounded. When I chose you to have you as my practice partner. I see what's happening. I didn't even realize how close he'd come to outing us. Jesus, I was this close to death and I didn't even notice at first.
Benjamin, I don't really see what the problem is. If you can help Keisuke-kun with his practice, why don't you? Frankly, it's the least you could do after your rude comment from earlier.
I was trying to compliment him, but yeah, I see your point. I don't mind. It's not like a little more practice wouldn't help me out either.
No, you're already good enough as is. You could stand to stop progressing for a little while.
Huh?
It's so frustrating how you manage to blaze right past me when I finally feel like I'm catching up. Yeah, I've heard that sentiment echoed by a few other people before.
Sorry, I don't really know what to say. And considering how badly I botched my earlier attempt at complimenting you, I don't want to risk apologizing or saying something else due to the risk of sounding condescending.
My. Now that's something I've heard Aki muttering to himself a few times already.
For real? As I suspected, him and I are truly kindred spirits.
Please don't bond with my brother over your shared frustration with me. And speaking of...
Morning.
God. Finally. I'm starting to think you'd never come down.
Shush.
Sweetie, your fur is looking a bit long. Maybe we should schedule a trim?
What? Do we really have to?
He's liking the long fur look.
It would be best. Aren't you having trouble in the bath lately?
Yeah, but I still would rather not.
Aw, is poor little Aki embarrassed?
Benjamin.
I'm not you.
But if that's not the reason, then why don't you want to get your fur trimmed?
It takes too long. Do you have any idea how hard it is to stay still for that long?
Really? That's your reason?
Yes!
I don't know, Akiyoshi-kun. There's something profoundly relaxing about the process. The scented candles, the aroma oils, the moisturizing lotions, the soothing music. And don't even get me started on the massage. Dude! This is like a Sport Clips family, alright?
Keisuke.
What?
Keisuke-san, we really do come from different worlds, huh?
What's that supposed to mean? I give the confused hair a pat on the back.
Either way, it's good that you came down when you did. Breakfast is pretty much ready.
Oh, good. I haven't had your cooking in a while.
It hasn't been that long, has it?
I think it's been a couple weeks.
I really need to work some more breaks into my schedule.
None of us would complain, that's for sure.
It'd be really nice.
The problem is that it's hard to find a stopping point. Every time I tell myself I'll take a few days off after finishing an important document, I get swamped with lots of other high priority work right before I'm done.
That's because your coworkers keep taking time off and you cover for them.
Our work is important. I can't just let it idle.
Your family is important too. Or at least that's what I want to say, but I know it won't solve anything. It's not like Mom doesn't feel bad about it. I'd just be making her feel even guiltier with no actual solution in sight. What is it with me and finding a way to surround myself with workaholics?
If it's okay for me to ask, what is it that you do, ma'am?
Has Benjamin not mentioned it to you before?
In very vague terms. He told me that you work a lot and are in law. Not much more past that.
I gave you all the important information.
Hard disagree.
Well, I suppose it would be difficult for him to explain. I don't tend to talk about work all that much when I'm home. I don't want my time with them to be spoiled by it, so I try to enforce strict separation between my work and my home life.
You mean other than when you're locking yourself in your room to work?
Yes, I suppose you're right about that too.
Nikki, don't make Mom feel bad.
I was joking. Relax.
I work for a firm that specializes in criminal defense. We mostly handle appeals from clients that have been let go by prior attorneys, though I haven't dealt with that particular front for a few years.
Whoa, that's a lot heavier than I expected. I don't blame you for distancing yourself from that part. Being a defense attorney is already really difficult over here, and there aren't that many willing to do it. To work on appeals, though, those rarely ever go anywhere. I don't think I'd be able to handle the pressure either.
Wait for it.
Well, I didn't distance myself from appellate work because of that. Our firm started working with other defense attorneys in the country to attempt to introduce a series of amendments to the Supreme Court in an attempt to restructure the judicial system. I've been working on that, so I had to step away from everyday trial law.
Huh?
Yep. Pretty ridiculous, right?
Benjamin Coons, stop that.
Stop what?
That goofy look in your face and the gesturing. Stop it.
Aww. I make no effort to hide my amusement. I guess my poking Keisuke while laughing was too much for Mom to let it slide. In my defense, the dude is completely frozen in shock. How is that not funny?
I'm sorry. I can't seem to pick my jaw up off the floor.
You don't need to act so surprised. It's not that big a deal.
It's a huge deal. You could completely change the face of the Japanese justice system.
It's a nice sentiment, but any meaningful change is still far off, I'm afraid. We might be laying a foundation of sorts, but motions like these are introduced every now and again, only to be quashed without much resistance. We're just making it a little harder to drown them out with every new one that pops up.
That's unfortunate.
Change such a fundamental aspect of an entire nation doesn't happen overnight. I'm not even sure I'll be practicing by the time the seeds we've planted bear fruit.
Oh.
Now you see why I hardly say anything about her being away so often. I mean, sure, I want my mom around the house more often, but it's hard to say, please give me more attention at the expense of an entire country. I suppose it might be a bit of an exaggeration, but that's about what it feels like. Even Aki learned a couple years ago to stop asking. It just makes Mom feel guiltier every time.
How long have you been at this?
3.5 years? Maybe 4? After a certain point, you start losing track of time. There's a lot of bureaucracy to trudge through at every step of the way. Even the most minor documents have to go through dozens of people before we get any kind of response. When you're constantly running around in circles like that, you start to lose track of things.
Remind me never to go into law or public service.
Okay. Hey, Keisuke, never go into law or public service.
Later! Remind me later!
You didn't specify.
Ugh.
As we slowly worked through our meal, Keisuke took the opportunity to continue to asking my mom a few more questions in an effort to get to know her. Was it at all obvious that he was trying to make up for, in his words, being a bad guest? A little. Did she care? No. Though I'd told him so from the start. Whatever. If it made him feel better, what's the harm? Once we were all done, Mom began clearing out the table with mine and Aki's help, Keisuke tried to offer his, but was summarily rejected by all three of us, leaving him fidgeting in his seat. I won't lie, he's kinda cute when he's like that, hee hee.
Thanks for the help, you two. Benjamin-kun, why don't you and Keisuke-kun get ready to go out? You wanted to practice today, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am. But are you sure you don't need any help?
Don't worry. I'd washed most of the pots and pans while plating up. There isn't that much that needs doing. Besides, with how much housework Benjamin does all the time, it's only fair that he gets a pass on it.
What about me? Aren't you gonna mention the work that I do?
You keep your room tidy and you wash the dishes when I ask you. There isn't much to praise there.
Benjamin?
What? It wouldn't kill him to at least vacuum once in a while. Yeesh, why am I suddenly getting glared at? You know I'm right.
You can be right and still be a jerk, you know.
What? Did you read my mind?
Didn't need to. You can be quite predictable sometimes.
What? I think Aki doesn't get enough comeuppance, I'm just saying. Just fucking saying. He gets a little too goddamn much preferential treatment. But anyway.
Thanks, Keisuke-san.
I'm just gonna get my gear and head out. Come with me if you want. Not wanting to deal with Keisuke wearing that smug smile of his, I turned on my heels and declared I was leaving, which didn't do much to hide my embarrassment, but at least it meant I got to look away. Keisuke followed behind me without missing a beat, almost as if he was expecting me to do that, which just annoyed me even more. The surprise, though, was that Aki followed us as well, jumping on my way to intercept me? I imagine that's one of those in-on mix-ups. That's okay. Which was probably for the better, since I did hear him calling out to us, which made no effort to stop.
Are you two going to practice?
Yes. I don't feel 100% confident for the tournament next week just yet, so I asked Benjamin to play me for a bit. I'm gonna need all the practice I can get. Oh god, god damn it. Alright.
In that case, can I come too?
Really? We're not gonna have someone for you to play against. I'm not sure what exactly you're going to be able to do on your own.
There are tons of drills I can do on my own if I wanted, but that's not even the point. I want to watch you guys play.
Are you sure? It might be boring.
Not at all. I can always learn from watching others play.
Aw, is that what this is about? You want to watch a big bro play since you admire me so much? Well, in that case... I don't find the tsundere thing charming. I don't. I just don't.
Actually, I wanted to watch Keisuke-san play.
What?
Me?
What? But how come he wants to watch Keisuke play instead of me? I mean, he'd want to watch both of us play since we're played together, I guess, but why is he focusing on Keisuke?
But Benjamin, that look on your face is real intense.
Look? What look? I don't have a look. I'm fine. Totally fine.
Nikki, cut that out.
Cut it out? Cut what out? I don't have an...
Okay, this has gotten boring already. Enough of that.
Excuse me?
Either way, I wanted to watch you play since I think learning from your playstyle could help me out a lot more. I've tried basing myself on a Nikki for a few years, but I don't have Aniki's physique. It's not like I'm weak, but I'm not particularly strong either. Compared to the other kids in my age group, I always score on the lower third in terms of strength. I can't high the ball as fast or as hard as Aniki does, but I also don't have the kind of stamina Sayane does to make people run around until I get the point. I've been feeling stuck.
Wait, really? That's what this is about? Now I feel bad for getting jealous.
I see. I get it, Akiyoshi-kun. I went through the same thing. Once you get past a certain level and start playing against higher ranked players, you really start to see everything that you lack. I'm not particularly strong or athletic either. For the longest time, I languished around the prefectural levels because I couldn't complete? I couldn't complete? I imagine that's compete with players who were. It wasn't until I figured out something I was good at and found a way to apply it that I started winning more consistently. Really? I didn't know that you went through that. It's not like your physique is bad. On the contrary, you have a pretty nice body. Is that you just... Okay, just gonna say that. I do? Why are you getting all red all of a sudden? We've done many we've done things together. I didn't mean it like that, you idiot. I mean, it's true that Keisuke has a really nice body, but I wasn't commenting on his looks. I was just... Can you two not... Right, Aki is here. This isn't the time to be acting all obvious and stuff like this. Ahem. As I was saying, I've never had the most athletic build, so I had to figure out alternative ways to win. Why do you think I was a complete nobody until late in our middle school years? Come to think of it, I guess that's true. I'd never heard of you before my 3rd year of middle school. And even then, it's not like I heard much about him. It was more just a passing comment while I was walking around during a tournament. You're pretty skillful, so I thought you would always played a style like that one that you have, like the one you have right now. Most high-level professional athletes play a much more physical style of tennis. Sure, skillful players have their place, but there are very few of them at the top of the ladder. Why would I go for that? And even then, most skillful players are already Asian. It tends to be a thing in most sports. We're just smaller and less athletic than the competition, so we have to make do in other ways. Come to think of it, I think Shuichi said something similar about Japan's volleyball team once. Something about how lots of other teams have a bunch of players over 2 meters tall, but Japan only has one. Well, I suppose you're not wrong. Even by world standards, I'm not exactly that tall or that strong. Hearing that from the strongest player in the current youth circuit doesn't make me feel any better. Right. Sorry? Either way, my point is that I would like to watch Keisuke-san play if I can. I think it would really help me if I got some references from a player that found a different way to stand out. I don't want to keep losing anymore. I could barely even graduate past the prefectural stage. Of course. If I can be of any help to younger players, then I definitely want to do what I can. Thanks, Keisuke-san. Wow, Aki looks so happy about something so small. I thought I was doing a good job of helping him out and nurturing him along the way. Have I been overlooking something?
Damn. Damn!